Back in the early 2010s, mobile games were actually really good to play, and they were one of the most common types of games to play if you were still a kid. But in today's era, even when you're a kid, chances are you'll probably not play a mobile game because just look at these ads. Mobile games were actually a big part of my childhood. Well, that's because on the first half of the 2010s decade, those are pretty much the only games I played, since I switched to online games when I got friends. And recently, I found a video on YouTube on what are the most downloaded mobile games are, which made me feel really nostalgic for them. So this video will be the top 11 most downloaded mobile games of all time, and just as a disclaimer, some of the information might be wrong because there's a lot of conflicting sources on this, so I ended up going with a YouTube video from a guy called VidData, which I will link in the description, and I added some of my own research as well, so yeah. So the number 11 spot goes to Hill Climb Racing with 750 million downloads, which is a racing game that just released in 2012. It's basically a game where you have to try to drive a car without flipping over, because if you do, your head comes off. This game I actually used to play back in 2015. Yes, I was a bit late, so it wasn't like that nostalgic to me, but I mean it is still nostalgic. Back then I thought it was some like crappy game that like no one played and it just wasn't popular. Well, I thought I was the only person that played it alongside my cousin. Like, I was surprised to see a tweet where someone recalled this game as nostalgic. And turns out many people agreed too. I used to be addicted to this game back then, but I stopped playing it after a year because, well, you can't play a game forever. Out of all the popular mobile games that came out in the early 2010s, Jetpack Joyride is probably the only one that I not only didn't play, but I never heard of it. I literally first heard of this game a few weeks ago when I saw a tweet of someone recalling this game being nostalgic. Back in the day, I found out about mobile games by Google Play Store recommending them to me. So that's why I know a lot about some of the most popular mobile games of all time, but somehow Jetpack Joyride just wasn't one of them. And I had to do some research on this, but apparently it's a game where you have to stay on the top, although the gameplay isn't really doing that. I really don't know. Please comment down below on what Jetpack Joyride is all about and what I missed out on. Oh, and I forgot to mention about this, but Jetpack Joyride is in number 10 spot and has 800 million downloads. At the number 9 spot is 8-Ball Pool with 850 million downloads. This game is based on the real-life game of pool or billiard or 8-ball, whatever you wanna call it. I used to play this game back in 2013, but I stopped playing for a while because 8-Ball is not a game that I would like to play every day, and I rarely play this game in the real life. The last time I played it was about 2 years ago. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. At the number 8 spot is My Talking Tom with 900 million downloads, which is a game where you have to take care of Tom the cat by like feeding him or taking him a shower. I used to play this game back in 2017, which is not so long ago. Played it for about a month, and looking back at it now, it's honestly really cringe. I don't know how I enjoyed this game back then, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. At the number 7 spot is Garena Free Fire with 1 billion downloads. Now, I might be wrong with this placement because from the video that I found, Garena Free Fire was placed at 13th place with only 700 million downloads, which I found that to be incorrect since Play Store says it has 1 billion. Anyways though, this game is a game that probably isn't the biggest in the Western world, but living in Indonesia, I always hear about this game before the pandemic, like everyone kept talking about it, I keep hearing in conversations everywhere. Even when I go outside, I keep seeing everyone wearing these Free Fire merch. As far as my own personal experiences go, I never really bothered to play this game. This is just one of those games where I hear about it, oh okay cool, and I'm just never interested in it. At the number 6 spot, we have Temple Run with 1 billion downloads. Temple Run is a game that I used to play back in like 2012. Though I didn't really play it that much, it was very rare that I played this game because there was another running game that I enjoyed way more than Temple Run that will actually be appearing later in this list. But yeah, Temple Run is basically a running game where you have to escape from the gorillas and you run through a temple, which is a very accurate name for a game. At the number 5 spot is PUBG Mobile with 1 billion downloads. PUBG used to be a very popular game, although now I don't really hear anyone talking about it anymore. PUBG is a battle royale game, and it actually came out way before some of the most popular battle royale games now, such as Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Warzone. And as far as my experience, well, almost all my friends played it, but just like Free Fire, it's one of those games where I hear about it and I just don't care enough to play it because I'm just not interested. At the number 4 spot, we have Pokemon Go with 1 billion downloads. Pokemon Go was a very huge thing back in mid-2016. It was a global cultural phenomenon because no matter where you are in the world, there will be kids going around their neighborhoods trying to catch Pokemon. Well, it even made it into Indonesian news, which is very rare for an international game to make it to the news here, but that's just how many people that played it. Well, as far as my own personal experiences go, I thought the game was very cool when I saw it on the news, but I was never really a Pokemon fan ever since I was a kid. Therefore, I really didn't care about this game. And also, I read a lot of negative hate articles about this game, which to be honest further disinterested me from playing the game at the time. Though I did play the game with my friends' phones when I'm with them, but I've never downloaded this game on my phone. And now sadly Pokemon Go's kinda dead. At the number 3 spot, we have Fruit Ninja with 1 billion downloads. Fruit Ninja is considered to be a classic game. It is one of the most OG mobile games on this list, released as early as 2010. In fact, I think it is actually the earliest on this list. Fruit Ninja is considered to be one of the greatest OG mobile games, up there alongside games like Jetpack Joyride and Angry Birds. Fruit Ninja is basically a game where you have to chop up some fruit and you get score from that, but if you chop the bomb, I think it's game over. I haven't played this game in a while, but back then I used to play it a lot back in 2012 to 2013, and even in 2017, which is not so long ago, I got to play this game in VR in Jatim Park, which is very cool. At the number 2 spot is Candy Crush Saga with 1.7 billion downloads as the runner-up of this entire list. I've never played this game because it's just so boring to me. Like, I don't get why matching candies is so interesting to a lot of people, but a lot of boomers like to play it. And for my personal experiences, my mom played this game 8 years ago and still playing it now. At first, I was interested at the name of the places because between levels, there are names of certain places such as Wafer Wharf or No Got Neuer. But I obviously stopped getting interested in them, and by the time that happened, my mom reached to level 800 and I thought she quit the game, but then suddenly a few years later I came back and she's level 4000. And it just blows my mind how these boomers could just play a game for so long that is so boring in my opinion. Before we go to the number 1 spot, I just want to point out on some games that I used to play back then that didn't quite make the list. These mobile games are the ones that feel nostalgic to me, such as Minion Rush, Sonic Dash, Flappy Bird, Smash Hit, Geometry Dash, Where's My Water, Asphalt, Race Off, Goat Simulator, Angry Birds Go, and of course, the original Angry Birds, which is the first game I ever played. Rest in peace. And we have finally reached it, the most downloaded mobile game of all time that hasn't been deleted yet is Subway Surfers with 2.7 billion downloads. And to be honest, I'm very happy that this game came out on top. Subway Surfers is a running game, just like Temple Run that I mentioned earlier. But out of all the running games are probably the games I played the most when I was a kid. But Subway Surfers is probably my favorite. Like as I said, Temple Run is a bit too basic for me. I didn't really enjoy it, rarely played it. The two other running games I played, Minion Rush and Sonic Dash, I actually enjoyed them, but in my opinion, a bit too complex, like has a rank system, many different maps you need to unlock. But to be honest, Subway Surfers is the best for me because of its simplicity. You literally just run, just don't get hit by the trains, don't get chased by the police officer, and you're good. And over time, the theme of the city changes, and it's just overall a very good game to play if I'm bored back then. Well, now I don't play it anymore, obviously, since mobile games have died out and Subway Surfers got boring after 3 years of playing. I remember playing this game for like 30 minutes without dying. That was my record. I did that in like a car in 2015, though I started playing this game all the way back in 2012. This was probably the second game I ever played. Well, the first one was the OG Angry Birds. Once again, rest in peace. But yeah, so that concludes our list. We went from the number 11 spot, which is Hill Climb Racing with 750 million downloads, to the number 1 spot, which is Subway Surfers with 2.7 billion downloads. So I hope you enjoyed this video, because this video took me forever to make, because I'm very lazy during the holidays and I just didn't want to work on this video all the time, so it actually took me 1 week to make. So yeah, thanks for watching.